7 and welcome back to some more Create a Sim here on the channel. So we are continuing on with the rainbow vampires, the ladies. Technically this series should be over with, but because of computer issues, my own personal projects, I was working Christmas, and then some other personal family changes that occurred very recently, I'm still posting these. So, yeah. Anyway, I am now giving y'all a glimpse at blue here. So this is my lovely blue vampire sim. So just like the previous ones, it is a female. I will potentially do males eventually in the future, but I decided that when I do these series, I'm either going to do them as all females or all males. If I was to redo the rainbow occult and I got vampires again, then I would do males the next time. But this time around, I wanted to do females, and for the most part, I probably will start with females when it comes to these occult rainbow sort of cast things. So, just because I do have more options when it comes to female sims than I do male sims. So, it's a lot more creative freedom that I have going on there with them than I do with males, sadly. And that's just how it is. Even in the custom content world, there's not nearly as much male CC as there is female CC, so... what are you gonna do? I don't know how to make CC, so I just, I deal with what I can find. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, this is my lovely blue sim here. Again, for the most part, there was a few of these that I sort of had an idea going in what I wanted to do with them or what direction I was going to take with them. But in some cases, in most of the cases, either one or two things happened. Either I went in actually not for surely knowing which direction I was going to go, and I was just going to go into it, see where it just sort of naturally went to me as I started getting things and looking at things and things like that. Or I slightly had an idea, and as I started working on them, things sort of changed. And going in with blue, I did have a slightly different direction. I sort of thought I was going to go with her. But ultimately, as I started creating her, I continued creating her and testing things out and giving her, going through my large arsenal of custom content, things sort of changed. But I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that as I was going, that I did sort of change directions going on, because honestly, I really, really love how blue came out. Blue was probably one of my favorites. Really liked the direction I ended up going with her. Just by playing around stuff. I did have fun with creating the sim as things went along, making her, she's sort of like, I'm saying a whole lot this time around. The big issue with the fact that it's been a while since I actually recorded these creative sims. It does mean some of my thought process has left my noggin. I apologize. But, trying my best to retain what was going on. But I do think originally, if I remember correctly, I was originally sort of going to go more of a gloomy, sad route, because the color blue sometimes can be geared more towards a color of sadness and gloominess and stuff. So I was sort of going with that at first, but then she ultimately sort of came more of a chill, relaxed vibes, in my opinion. Like, she definitely looks like the type of person that's sort of sitting off on her own, cool, chill, reading a book, but if you come up and talk to her, she's cool with that as well. It's, she's not gonna have too big of a deal. Like, she has her own style, and it's not necessarily anything over the top or anything, super fancy or dramatic or anything, but you could sort of tell, oh, that looks like her, versus someone who you may not know their style very well. You sort of can get an idea. And I'm not gonna lie, in some ways, even though I know, when I say this, I know that the colors that Raven from, Teen Titans and stuff, the colors she wears, and, her hair and stuff, they're more going towards the indigo, and violet realm, but in some ways, I think it's just the short hair. I don't know, she gives me slightly Raven vibes, but Raven, if there was a little bit of cheerfulness more in there, or, a little bit more confident. I don't know how to say that. Not that she's not confident, but, well, she does have her insecurities, so yeah. So she just, anyway, but I don't know. For some reason, I slightly got that vibe from her. If the color tones were different and you're certain situations was different. Maybe that was just me, for some reason, having some weird projection or look at her, but for some reason she did give me that vibe. And again, it may just be the hair, simply, for the most part. And the hair, honestly, I almost always spend a long time on the hair. Let's be real honest here. I spend a lot of time on the hair compared to a lot of parts of the the creative sim. But it was because originally, like, the first hair I click on, I really loved it on her at first. But there was not an option that was completely the blue that I wanted, or had enough blue. Like, one of them that I liked, the color blue in the hair, most of it was white. So it was like a blue root with white ends, and the white ends were taking over most of the hair, which I didn't want to do. And I even come back to the hair and play around with it some more, trying to make it more of a blue color. But now when I went back to edit this video, looking back on it now, I'm really happy that I actually didn't go with that hair. I went with a totally different hair. I stayed more in the realm of short hair with her, because I did decide that this facial structure and this sort of style that I had going on with her face, I liked the short hair look a lot better. But yeah, so you will see me come back to the first hair and try to fool around with it, because honestly, at first, I absolutely loved it. And looking back on it now, it still looks great. I still really like it. But ultimately, in the end, I actually do like the hair that I ended up giving her for the final part, like the final look, more than this hair. So I may have really liked this hair at first, but ultimately it worked out. It worked out better that I found a different hair for her. Also, I normally don't put glasses on Sims. There's a few reasons behind that. Partially because a lot of people actually, if they have glasses, unless it's just purely sunglasses, which sometimes I forget about sunglasses, because I would only put it on, like, the two outfits, the swimwear and also the hot day outfits. With the thing with the swimwear, because some people also put, like, flip-flops and stuff on their swimwear, which is cool when you're just taking photos, but if there's even a remote chance that you're not only just doing a creative sim of the sim and going to take photos of the sim, but there's a chance that you might use the sim later on down the road, or you are having the purpose of giving it a gameplay option, then I don't like the flip-flops and I don't like the sunglasses on them, because they're going to be in the water. And usually, I mean, there is some cases that I've seen people keep sunglasses on when they get into, like, certain bodies of water, when they know that their head is not going to have a chance to go underwater. But in most cases, if you're going swimming, you're not going to keep your sunglasses or your flip-flops on. But also, like, and then, like, every day, like, a lot of people wear contacts and things like that. But also, especially for my female sims, most of my, like, 3D, more realistic-looking eyelashes, at least especially the ones that I have downloaded that I think look the best, are in my glasses section. I have some that technically are in the skin details, and I do like some of them, but a lot of those ones are, like, definitely not realistic whatsoever, not even close to realistic. They're over dramatic, and I only use them on special occasions, like when I know the sim is, like, putting false lashes on. But if I'm trying to go for more of a possible everyday eyelash, and maybe there's just mascara on it or something like that, most of the eyelashes I use are in the glasses section. I have one or two eyelashes that also go into accessories, so, like, where you would find, well, piercings, I mean. So, like, where you would find all that piercings that's up before the earrings. I have a few that's in there. So I think that's what I used for her, was to give her some eyelashes and also have glasses on. But the fact that I use glasses on her and I don't use them often, just because a lot of times I'm like, just don't even look at them because I know I might be using the eyelashes. So yeah. So it was a fun little different thing for me to use glasses on this sim. So that was one of the things that I did end up really liking with her, is because I used something I normally wouldn't use. So that was a lot of fun, and I liked it. So hopefully you like it as well. Let me know down in the comments below. And it has been a really long time in between videos. Again, I apologize. Like I said, I had a vlog come out not too long ago. At least I don't think it was that long ago. Sometimes I'm really bad with judging time and how, like, far... Like, some things that seemed like it was only 3 days ago, it was actually, like, a week, 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's been a while. So yeah, but I think it was only literally like two weeks ago. By the time I post this, it may be closer to 3 weeks. But at the time of recording this vlog, I think it was only like two weeks ago or a week and a half ago that I uploaded that vlog. But yeah, and I knew going into December, even with before I had my computer issues, I knew that I was going to slow down on videos just because Christmas is always a super stressful time for me. My anxiety flared up recently, so I was having like medical stuff because of anxiety, and then there was also a death in the family. And I won't go into much details, but yeah, so there was that happened very recently. So it was just everything sort of collided together at the end/beginning of 2023 and 2024. So yeah, there's a lot. So I know the videos are spaced out a lot more than I would like them to be, especially for a CAS series. So there is a link down below for the previous colors of this series if you need to rewatch or at least skip to the end where I have the photos of the Sims so that you can sort of have a re-memory of what the Sim looks like, and then tell me who's your favorite so far. For me, at this point, I'm biased when it comes to red, but honestly I think blue became one of my favorites, like easily. So I really am intrigued to see if maybe blue becomes anyone else's favorite, and how that changes. Red has always been my favorite color ever since I was a very, very tiny child. And with the red one, I also went the more like sort of Victorian or like old school vampire look sort of situation. So I really did like her a lot, but I do think I like blue more. Overall, I think I like blue more than I like red or really any of the other ones. So blue probably is my favorite at this point. So I'd be curious to know what y'all's thought process are, and what you think of blue just on her own, and then what you think of her when you factor in the other ones. Is she your favorite, or is she not your favorite? Like, feel free to tell me in the comments below, because I would definitely like to know and hear. But yeah, so also it took me forever to edit this video on top of everything else going on, because for some reason this video, I have a editing process that probably might be weird to some people, but it just personally for me it worked. It feels to me like it is a faster process and an easier process for me. I have 2 video editing softwares on my editing computer, and there's one that I start at too, and that's like the entry-level basic editing, get the big giant chunks of dead zones or zones, like areas in the video that I'm like, I realize, okay, there's really no point of me keeping this in the video. It just doesn't work, and I need to shorten the video anyway, so this is one of the best sections to just cut out, because it actually doesn't really, in my opinion, provide anything to the video. So that's my first project. And then my second one is more of like a fine-tuning. So it's like double checking that the audio is a little bit louder and a little bit better, hopefully, and like, you know, stuff like that. Just the fine-tuning stuff. Find a few more spaces that maybe I overlooked when doing the big editing. Because the second one, especially for these Create a Sim videos and like speed build videos, any of those like that, they are usually quite long. Especially the speed videos ones, because sometimes I'll dedicate like a big chunk of the day to just building for a speed build video. So it's like, you know, a 2, 3, 4 hour recording that I have to edit through, and the first software that I use just is a lot easier to go through and find those spots where I get distracted by the TV, or like I stop to go eat or use the bathroom, or my husband comes home or wakes up or whatever it may be and I'm talking to him. I haven't fully stopped the recording, but there's a dead zone because I walked away for a bit or I'm not paying attention for whatever reason. And the other one, it looks a little weird and janky if I'm trying to move through there really quickly to find those dead zones. But for some reason, my first editing software just was not liking this video. Every time I tried to load this video up in the first software to process it, to edit it, it would either after a certain point in time, freeze the whole computer, or my computer just would, like, turn off. I don't know if it got froze, because sometimes I let it sit for a bit, so that it can process the video, so that then I can edit. So sometimes I don't pay attention, and I don't, pay attention to how long. That computer, my editing computer, is the oldest computer in our house at this point, but still. really, I didn't think it was that old, but it does randomly sometimes turn off when I was trying to process this video to edit it. So I had to actually load it into what is typically my second editing software, try to cut what I could out from there and slightly speed it up in that system, export it out, bring it back into the first editing software to double check and make sure I got all the big dead chunks out, and also to record this voiceover and add the voiceover to it. So this was a longer editing process for this video than it normally is, and I apologize because, you know, it just added on to the list of things that made this video take a little bit longer to get out than it should have. Eventually, maybe, you know, I've been saying this for like 4 or 5 years. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Maybe eventually I'll get my life together and, you know, my YouTube videos will be more consistent. Who knows? What? I don't know. But I'll try. Anyway, let me know what you think about this lovely sim here and her ultimately end look as my blue vampire. I definitely would love to hear your thoughts on her. Like I said, she probably is my favorite at this point. I really liked how she turned out. Love her. She's beautiful, amazing, very nice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to the last few remaining ones for this series before I finally start a new Creative Sim series. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with my delays and all over the placeness with my videos sometimes. So again, thank you. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, but until then, bye bye!